Hope I'm on the right one. Hope I'm on the right one. Oh, there you are.
You look amazing.
Oh, thanks. Am I on Sheri's Dreamcatcher or am I on my other one?
I was trying to do it on the computer. You look amazing. Going
Oh,
live.
thanks. I'm trying to figure out which one I'm live on.
Sheri's Dreamcatcher.
Oh, okay. I'm still learning these things. I added a title, but I don't know how that works either.
That's part of the process.
I know. Do you know how to pin stuff?
I don't know how to do any of this at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have my Spin Sisters sweatshirt on. You
Me
got yours
too.
on too? Woo!
Spin Sisters with the sisters.
The Spin Sisters.
I got
It
my
was.
cup.
You got your cup? Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm lighting my sage.
Ooh, I got some sage. I got some sage from the Native American Museum from New York. And this one has some extra stuff on it. It smells
Oh,
good.
awesome.
Mine looks a little busted out though.
What, your sage?
This is how many times I've burned it.
Sage that bucket.
Aging a lot lately, Sheri.
Just keep saging. You can sage yourself. You can sage the studio. I sage my house.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I got the feather too.
Oh, what's the story behind the feather?
The feather just pushes it.
Oh,
I'm sure there's more story to it, but I'd have to ask Josh.
all right. Well, I'm waving. This is my feather. You look like you're ready to do the genie. Has anybody told you that?
No, actually, whenever I wear my hair up like this, the kids always say, "Mom, you look like
Like I
the
do.
mean." No, they tell me I look like the mean ogre from Lord of the Rings as one of the orcs.
I've never watched it. I've watched.
You've never seen the Lord of the Rings?
No.
All right. Well, it's Friday night. I know I'd let people know that we were going on here. Who knows what they're doing? It's Friday night, and I actually was going to be a good girl and not drink. So I do have my blue cup and my tea. Awesome. So I did prepare myself, Sarah. Okay. Be so happy. I have my notes, my outline. It's like 2 pages for you.
Oh, nice.
Okay. So I guess we'll just start. And thank you for coming to TGIF Sip and Think Chat with the Spin Sisters. And tonight we're going to discuss overcoming normal New Year business challenges and then the added impacts of COVID. Sarah, I'm going to try not to look like a robot, but I do have to reflect back down to my notes. Okay?
All right.
So first, I'd like to let everyone know I'm Sheri from Sheri's Dreamcatcher, if you don't already know. And tonight with me is special guest Sara Loretta Ben. She's the owner and operator of South County's leading bar and cycle studio called Elevate Bar and Cycle, located right here in Narragansett, Rhode Island. If you're local, you may have seen her and her studio bikes popping up at the town beach or a local farm. This year alone, Sara was recognized in the Southern Rhode Island Magazine as one of our leading ladies of 2020. Here she is.
Damn, she looks hot. Over March.
And if you watch Channel 10 News in the Rhode Island area, you just might see her in a commercial. But if you watch Channel 10 News or Channel 10, wait a minute, if you watch Channel 10, you just might see Sheri on a commercial. So Sara is on Channel 12 and Sheri is on Channel 10.
Controversy.
I know, one of the guys I worked with, he came in and he said, Sheri, did I see you on Channel 12 in a commercial? I said, no, that was my sister. So he's like, God, you guys are taking over all the networks here. And then I wanted to let you know, I really believe that our mother is proud because, yes, we come from the same mother and father. And so I don't know how I don't know how we're connected other than that. Sara and I are 17 months apart. I am the older sister. She is the younger sister. I protect her, I think, since she's been born all the way through now. However, I'm very, very proud of you, Sara. Very, very proud of you. And I'm one of your biggest supporters.
Like Stephanie, B, ACT, action, whatever, her cheerleading. Should be doing a somersault over here for us with her. Ta-da!
ACTION, 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 we want action. Yes, our older sister was a captain of the cheerleading squad, and then I was a cheerleader and became the captain as well. So I know the cheers. Anyways, so we've only got an hour, Sara.
Okay, hurry up.
No, I'm not going to hurry up. So anyways, we are doing a sip and think chat with our blue Envision Dream sip and think mugs. Now, Sara, why did you choose the blue?
I think to go along with like the turquoise Indian color, I'm attracted to that. I've always resonated with that color. I love them all, but I definitely liked the blue the most. Okay.
Blue is actually the kind of represents the color of the sky and the sea. It's often associated with depth and stability. It symbolizes trust, loyalty, wisdom, confidence, intelligence, faith, truth, and heaven. Blue is considered beneficial to the mind and body. So I thought that was perfect when I read that, mind and body. That is something that you work on every single day, even before you started Elevate Bar and Cycle.
Right. Oh, nice.
I also went and found a quote for you. Seeing as we are in the ocean state and we are from the fishing industry as well, there's a quote by Franklin D. Roosevelt that says, "A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor."
Ooh, I like that. There was some ripples.
Well, I thought it was perfect for you, and I thought it was perfect for the subject that we have tonight with overcoming normal New Year business challenges and then the added impacts of COVID. So could you please just explain to everyone what Elevate Bar and Cycle is?
All right, so Elevate Bar and Cycle is a private fitness studio. It's kind of considered boutique-like because it's not a gym. And we have a pay-as-you-go model. We have currently 2 specialty programs, getting ready to expand out to add 4 specialties. But currently we have indoor cycling and then bar. And bar is a program where it's infused with like ballet and dance and a little bit of like yoga, I guess you would say, the movements. It's a pay-as-you-go model, as I said. There's no contract. You control when you come, when you pay. And it's really designed for community members and for everyday individuals who just want to, stay active and and meet people and, just increase active lifestyle, stay healthy and motivated and have a community to help support them as well.
So how did you come up with the name Elevate Bar and Cycle?
Oh my God, I can't believe I have to give credit to John. John, so he does have great ideas. You should call it Elevate. And I was like, all right. So to back up as I digress, I created a folder one night while we were like sipping and chatting like 4 years ago. And I made it, and he never knew I made it. And I wrote all of our ideas out. And 2 years later, we opened it. So it was like an idea where, you're just like chilling with someone saying, you should do that. You should call it Elevate. And I made a folder and jotted notes in it, and I like put it aside. 2 years later, I found the damn folder the month I opened.
So that's interesting you say that. You were just sipping, thinking, and chatting, right?
Yeah.
And you started writing your ideas down.
Mm-hmm.
What I like is that you put it all into a folder.
Yeah.
Similar to someone putting it into a journal. And then isn't it funny how you go and you looked at it 2 years later, and then that triggered something in you to say, this is what I'm going to do?
I actually did a journal as well. I did kind of both the same night because I was heavily into journaling because I was a professor at URI. I was an adjunct, and I did a lot of journaling on like my philosophy, my pedagogy when I would teach. And I would, always keep notes of something that I thought would be like magnificent, something that stimulated something spiritually, I guess you'd say, where I was like, oh, I love that idea. Let me just write it down. You know what I mean? Because you forget stuff. And then when I went back, I was like, shit, those were some good ideas.
So this can tie into starting a new business, Sarah. You had some challenges. And what were some of those challenges just starting to take your dream and your goal from journaling? How did you start that?
So to be completely honest with you, I was getting my second master's, and I really wanted to be part of the PhD program.
Mm-hmm.
And I was rejected. And that was when Jonathan had sat me down again and said, he goes, why don't you just open your spin studio? We had already met with the SBA like a year before, blah, 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 whatever. And I had given up on that dream. And then I was like, you know what? Let me look for commercial properties. And Washington Trust Bank showed up. And I had always wanted that spot for Curves. I was like, why do people go to Curves? This is like, nobody ever goes here, blah, blah, blah. It came up. I walked in the door. And I met Scott, and I was like, I want this spot. He goes, you haven't even looked at it. And I go, I don't care. I want this spot. I've been wanting it for like a decade. I didn't know why I wanted it or what. A week goes by. He didn't call me. I made Jonathan get on the phone. It was a Friday night at 5. I said, call him right now and tell him I want that spot. And he goes, my wife wants that spot. You got to give her the spot. She wants it. Boom, done. We hustled and mobilized with our army, my family, my stepdad, my sisters. 2 months. We mobilized and we opened up this spot, and it just felt like it kept going in the right direction, and that was how I opened.
So do you feel that when they always say, failure is the driving force for success? So when you said that you failed at the SBA, was it?
The PhD.
Right. So it kind of moved you into a direction that you were meant to go into. So you have to use that failure as a stepping stone and say, I got to follow my gut.
It was that I felt really humiliated and
Mm-hmm.
And that was why he encouraged me, because I kept fighting so hard. Like I wrote a thesis, like everything I had been doing like 3 years was to build up for the PhD program and then continue on professing. And when that failed, it was like, you got to shut the door now. Like you just said, I had to shut the door, and I didn't even think this was possible. Like, because 2 years prior when we went to the SBA and I was looking for a spot in the pier, it didn't have that momentum, that positive momentum.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment he said it to me, I typed in commercial property, the building came up, and everything just happened so fast.
You
But
said you opened within 2 months.
yeah, ordered the bikes, bought them out, found the space. Like I said, mobilized. Pop came here, built me a stage. Jared painted, and the night before, Pop didn't even.
So just so other people understand, Pop is our stepdad and Jared is one of our lifelong friends. And so she had to rely on her family and friend support to get her up and running. Right, Sarah?
Oh yeah, like I said, we mobilized an army in like 2 months. We put the bikes together, we built the stage, we painted it. The night before, Pop didn't even think we were gonna. He was like, nothing was up. I was here till 11 o'clock the day before, the night before we opened, still putting up everything. I mean, it was just like, let it roll.
What drove you to want to do a cycle studio?
So my love for like working out, I'm obviously like, back 30 years ago, we didn't have cars immediately when we were 16 or whatever. We had to get some. I worked at Papa's Grocery. Please let me, everybody knows Papa's. Penny candy. We gave out Swedish fish, blah, blah, blah. I rode my bike there because I had the Saturday shift. I had the shit shift. I'd have to ride my bike, and then my mom would pick me up in her caravan and put the bike in the back of the car. And then that was how I got to my job. And then I would ride my bike all the time. Me and Melissa Crawford would like ride around town. We'd go mountain biking. And then I was just like, this is fun. And I just started riding from 16 on and loved it.
Okay. So can you also elaborate a little bit more on some of the other obstacles you had becoming a new business within 2 months?
Yeah, I knew nothing. Okay, zero, except for the fact that I like to ride a bike. I wasn't even still that good of a spin instructor. Like, I was still a newbie teaching spin. So, I mean, it was just kind of like I had to figure out like my operating expenses, the platform. I had no website. I had no clients. So it was just like I had no plan. I basically had a SMART proposal plan, which was like, I want this business. SMART, specific. I want a business. M, it's measurable. R, realistic. You know what I mean? Like that, like stuff you learn in graduate school, but you don't apply it. I ended up getting up with it and having to use it. And
You ended up having to apply it to this situation.
I did. I was like, thank God I know what a SMART plan is. They have an Addy one too, but the SMART plan really helps business owners or somebody who's really trying to like plan something out, visualize it. I had to visualize.
So would you recommend people do a business plan or just absolutely?
2 years prior, like I said, when we started to do it, we went on the SBA, which can get overwhelming because there's like language where you're like, oh, do I need to do this? However, the SBA has a really good like draw out. They'll tell you to do like a mission statement, target audience. And I did use that 2 years ago. So it was not to capture it because I mean, my mission had changed. Some of the other things had changed, but at least I had something to build upon.
Right.
So that was very useful. And then I started to just evolve from that moment. And I was like, okay, well, now I need to be bold. It is mine. I need to almost adopt this and just say, I don't need to be so strategic. I need to like figure out how it's going to work as well, because this is my personality. What can I bring to the table now? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you had to rely on your experiences, your knowledge, and your skills.
And working in accounting and URI was a really good skill because I had 15 years of understanding software systems, payables, receivables, budgets, Excel. So, I mean, all that stuff, I didn't have to hire anybody. I was able to build upon my 15 years of experience, doing that kind of stuff. But I didn't have the skills to put together a spin bike. We had to figure it out with Pop. It was like me, John, and Pop putting together a spin bike. They didn't come like where you could roll them out off the truck. They came in like millions different of pieces.
So everything you had to do was you had to literally build yourself from the ground up.
Absolutely. And I had no funding. I used my own capital. I mean, I exhausted everything from my own. Everything.
And that's why I'm very proud of you, Sarah. I'm very proud of you. Now, how long have you been open?
Well, we just hit our 2-year anniversary, COVID. Yep. Congratulations to us. Um, that was our celebration. But in the 2 years, we had over 530 clients, and that was all word of mouth. It was all family members, mom sharing her post, you sharing your post, John sharing a post, and just everyone like mobilizing again together as a community to share how awesome it is to come here.
So, what kind of classes do you offer?
So I offer a 45-minute spin, which is like a amount of spin, and I also do a 60-minute cycle bar, which is like a combo. So it's 30-minute cycle, 30-minute bar, and then we just added on Zumba for those individuals who don't love spin, want to dance, shake your booty. We offer that and bar, which again is 45 minutes, and that's just like a strengthening, building, toning class where you augment your cycle experience or you open that door to your fitness journey with a little more low impact movement.
So, when you first started, you were the only teacher. Did you have to teach yourself how to teach?
Oh my God. And I was not a novice spin instructor or a novice bar instructor. The only thing I had under my belt was I was an adjunct professor. So I had taught millennials, how to publicly speak, which was an added bonus for teaching spin because, you're okay to be in front of people, you project, you kind of know these cues. I was exhausted. I taught every day, five classes a day. I had to keep clients engaged, and then I would start to add instructors, but then I had to train instructors again with low education.
Mm-hmm. Now, I remember that when you first opened and we were actually now going into like the summertime more, you had some interns from the university.
Yep. Well, I actually knew them because I had taught them in talent development. I had also given my time to teach talent development students in the summer. That was an aggressive program. So I was exposed to them, and I had actually reached out to them and was like, hey, would you be interested in teaching spin? So we adopted them, which was nice. So we had that community, that gap, bridging that gap between like this Narragansett community and the URI community because they're so closely connected.
Right. So how many instructors do you have now?
Well, now I have probably 8, and I always stay around 8. So I went from 1 to 8.
Right. And I remember going to your early morning classes, and I don't know how you did it. You were doing spin class after spin class, bar class, and then a couple of spin classes in the evening. I can barely do one spin class. That's a little bit of the difference between me and Sarah. So then we had to say, Sarah, we need to make sure that you're taking in some fluids. Sarah never ate anything sweet. She never ate anything bad. I ate all the bad stuff. I ate all the sweet.
I do now.
You do now? Well, because you need to keep that energy up.
I keep a box of sweeteners right in that fridge.
Oh, the chocolates? Wow, I'm amazed. I'm amazed. Sarah's the type of person that will walk around with a little sandwich baggie, and she'll just pull out carrots. She'll pull out like string cheese. She'll pull out celery, and it's just like no matter where you are, you could be at a game. You could be out with your friends. You could be at the restaurant. She'd just whip it out. And I'm like, oh, my God.
I can't believe you say the string cheese. They make fun of me at the Cumberland Farms because I get a coffee and 2 mozzarella string cheeses.
Every morning.
Yes.
So Sarah, the next thing I wanted to ask you is, what are some of the steps you took to maintain your clientele during the shutdown?
Oh, and I didn't even, again, that was like, woof. 313 comes and it was like the next day it was over. One of the things I was able to do, again, because this is such a community driven place where we know each other, you know, we wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, we're like struggling coming in the morning, you know, we've really connected on like a level. We, as a community, thought, hey, how can we keep this? And I rented out my bikes. And that was really hard for me because the bikes are really expensive. And I had just
You
finished
built them.
them, and they were expensive, and I paid for them, and they're new. And I rented them to clients, really good clients, and I would videotape the class, and I would put it on my platform, which is MindBody, which is the software. They would still sign in, and they had all day to use it, and that kept us together. And that kept us together a lot together. And we would text and we would try to do like a Zoom class. And then we would slowly add like a cohort class. We would do like 2 people. Or Eleanor, I'm sorry, I made Eleanor meet me every Wednesday and Friday at 6 a.m.
He at the studio?
Me and her. I said, Eleanor, I need to get out of this COVID funk. I need a person in this studio. I knew she didn't have a bike. And she met me for 2 months straight, Wednesday and Friday.
Wow.
A.m. I gave her a Spin Sister sweatshirt. I was like, Eleanor, you deserve this. You're my sister.
So did Spin Sisters come from the COVID shutdown?
No, it came from tons of sisters come to spin together. Between my sisters, the Garrahy sisters, and then now we just feel like we're all sisters. We're like, hey, you're not my sister, but you're my spin sister.
Right. So I was so excited to pick up my Spin Sister starter. It's cute. It's lightweight too. You can wear it.
Oh, it's awesome. It's
when
like
you're biking.
And it has great colors. It's like blue and red. Awesome. These are the colors of Elevate.
Yes. So I wanted to kind of go back to when you had to do the videos and upstream those during the COVID for your clients. Did you have to reteach yourself how to use that stuff?
I knew nothing about it. I was ahead of MindBody. I was trying to like upload them to YouTube. Not to mention, like tonight, Lisa goes, you have 2 phones. I was like, damn right. I need one for music and one to tape myself. That was the only way I got through COVID. I would like prop myself up on the platform, shine a light on me, tape my phone to a pole, and I'd be like talking to myself like as if they were here. I was like, okay, girls, now hit 3rd, you know, and I had to figure out how to upload it. YouTube had restrictions because anytime they heard music, they would copyright. So I was like, shit, I just spent all that time. How do I get my video up and like to get to them? I purchased Vimeo because Vimeo didn't have restrictions on the copyright. So I circumvented YouTube, saved it to my computer. It took me an hour every day, aside from teaching it, to upload it to Vimeo. And then it took me another hour to put it and launch it for them. It took me a long time every day.
But so in order to teach yourself, where did you go to learn how to do that?
I just did it.
You just said, all right, let me take my phone, let me do it. And then, you know, it was basically trial and error.
Yeah, it was like survival. How do I get my clients to still stay engaged? How do I keep my community together? And I just kept trying, and I was here for hours. I just kept trying and trying all night and all day. And I finally made it work.
Wow. How long did it take for you to get it like working to where you knew, okay, this is what I need to do to get it up on the platform for my clients?
It probably took me like a few days. And then once I figured out the rhythm, I got
Mhm.
better at it. But it was so trial and error. Like I said, I first tried the YouTube, and I would launch it, and it would be like, copyright. And I'm like, well, what else do I use? And I'm like, what else do I know? And I was like, Vimeo, let me try Vimeo. But taping the class was so hard because I would have to do like every 15 minutes, figure out how to like make it fluid. And 45 minutes of a spin class to upload takes a lot of gigabytes. So
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, oh my God, it's so easy just to teach a class. Now I've got to put the camera on me where I know it's on me, make sure the music can be heard, figure out how to upload it. After I upload it, launch it into MindBody. But I had time because we didn't work during COVID.
Oh, you didn't.
Look,
I did. I worked even more.
sorry, I was supposed to be working.
Yeah. So, since the restrictions have eased a little bit, what are what is your business doing currently to adapt through the restrictions?
Oh my God, Sheri, your questions are so thoughtful. I love them and provoking. All right, so what we've tried to do.
You want to stab me through the cell phone? Stab me through the phone.
I'm so no. So
Freaking sister.
what we have done to adapt, because I think now I'm getting used to it, and the clients are getting used to it, to kind of go with the flow. You know,
Okay.
of course, we want to stay along the guidelines of the governor. She's saying we have to wear masks. She waited for phase 3 to allow like fitness studios, et cetera, to start to open. So we tried to follow all those guidelines from the government. How the caveat is I have a lot of space, because the big challenge for a lot of people is space and spacing people out, you know, aside from wearing the mask or a fitness studio. I have 1,800 square feet. The bikes are 20 feet apart, which is over the amount that is given to us, allotted. We're supposed to do like 14. I do 20. I make the classes smaller. I make more of them. So I prefer a class of 5, 3 times a day, than one of 15. And again, people have to come in with masks. We Lysol the bikes, we wipe the bikes, which we did beforehand, but we do it even more aggressive now. And then I do a deep clean every single day. I clean every single bike. It takes me about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I do it at the end of the night, and I vacuum the place. I do everything. I have an air filter. So aside from that, we do outside classes. We've now graduated to outside classes. Like tonight, I'm still in my gear because I just taught a 45-minute spin outdoors from the studio. Along with that, we've done classes at the beach, Canacha Beach Club. We've done classes at Casey Farm. So we're just really trying to, you know, get creative, stay along the Rhode Island guidelines of COVID, keep people safe, and still spin.
Right. And I love that because it's also setting you apart, Sarah.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
love I love seeing the pictures, and you guys were at like the sunset over the ocean, the sunset at the farm. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Even though like I hate COVID with so much hate,
Yep.
it has allowed us though to do that. Like you said, when a door closes, we would have never gone to Canacha. We would have never gone to Casey Farm. We would have settled our butts right here in the saddle here. But it has made us, it's forced us to be creative. It's forced us to work harder to stay together and do what we love.
Now, with the pop-ups, you've even included DJ Blademan, my popcorn guy.
You know what? Okay, so I was so excited. The first class I ever had, I reached out to him, and he was so grateful. He hadn't DJ'd. He goes, Sarah, I haven't DJ'd since March. I was like, dude, DJ spin. He was like, all right. He was down with it. And by the last time he did it at the beach, he was taking photos. He knew when I was like, cut this song, next song, Corey. It was a good thing. And he loves that he's on the news. He's like, Sara, people keep telling me I'm on the news.
Corey is a DJ, but he also owns Looney Tunes in town, and he's one of our lifelong friends. I call him Popcorn because when Sarah and I lived with our dad, we lived near Corey, and me and Corey had to do, we had a bake sale, and we had to make popcorn, and we had Sarah help us. And Sarah would pour the entire container of salt into each bag, and me and Corey brought them to school and sold them for 25 cents and 50 cents a bag. And he still dies every time we talk about it. And I call him Popcorn just because that's our own memory together.
Cottage.
I can't hear you. What?
I remember being in cottages and Corey would like walk us home. He'd be like, "What's up, Ben girls?" We were like,
that was only 1 year out of our life before we had to move to another location. We just moved around.
But we with Corey, and he was the first person I thought of. I wanted to help him out. I felt connected to him, and he was grateful, and he did great. And he ended up with 5 more gigs and sold me his boombox.
I know. I want one. That's a bump box, isn't it?
Can you see it? Wait.
I'm dying to get one. I can't. Yeah, I can see it on the floor.
His wife was like, "You're selling for your boombox?"
So I have another question for you.
Okay.
What advice would you give someone who wanted to start their own spin fitness studio in today's environment?
Okay, well, if you're going to start in one, be 30 miles away from me, first of all. Don't hear me. If you're going to do any kind of fitness studio, have a passion for it. Have some sort of love for it. Only this and get you there every day. You do need some kind of plan. You have to write it down. Even though you can visualize great ideas, you need something on paper. You need some kind of plan.
So I have some other things going on here, right?
Okay.
So part of this mug, right, the Envision Dream mug,
Yeah.
you see a mountain here? That's the mountain of elevation.
Oh.
Behind the mountain of elevation is the sun. Now, the sun can represent many different things, but the sun can mean light, but it also represents fire. It's a ball of fire. And that ball of fire is your passion. And your passion is behind your mountain of elevation because your passion is what pushes you to elevate. So that's go inside the elevate. I didn't steal your idea, baby girl. Baby girl, I'm your older sister. Anyways, so basically, I have these tips that I found on the internet, and it's called Tips for Overcoming Startup Challenges Prior to COVID. And I want to know if you agree with any of them. I only chose 5, okay? One is you need to know what your company's culture is. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 2, you have to understand your financial issues.
I have no money.
3, you have to constantly be making yourself known.
Yes. Yeah. As I keep doing your other 2.
Recruit well.
Instructor.
So the instructors recruit well. So needless to say, no matter how great your business idea may be, you won't get very far if you don't have the right people to turn your idea into a reality.
And as I digress, I ended up figuring out the instructors that I wanted were part of my class. I did much better having instructors from the community part of my class where I was able to teach them and train them, and we jive together. Like I have Catherine Pezzi, Todd's wife. She loves the bar. She started as a client, grew to love it. I ended up teaching her. Now she teaches it, and people love her, especially because they met her in the class. Julie, for example, came to class one day. I was like, could you teach for me? She's like, I want to teach for you. And we blended well. She's part of the community. She's a mom. It was like the way that it blended together just felt right, you know? And, you know, well, financially, most startups, it's very hard for anybody to find capital. Unless you have an angel investor who's like, or Shark Tank, you know, the biggest part of your hustle is how do I find the money? And again, I had equipment was my bikes. They're 2,000 a piece. You know, of course I want 20, but how do I afford them? You know, and then you've got, you know, your platform, blah, 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 that you pay for every month to get people. Retention, word of mouth, and connection. I want to know you are not just a person. You are somebody that comes into this studio. You sit on my part of this ride. You are, you know what I mean? It isn't like I'm going to be on the leaderboard and beat so-and-so. It's like, I'm going to ride and enjoy this ride and do myself and do me.
So the fifth tip is continuing to nourish customer loyalty. So that's something that you have to do constantly.
I think the loyalty, it starts to like breathe itself when they experience the class and they experience those conversations with other clients and they experience the gratification of not feeling intimidated and feeling happier in life. Because when they leave a class, they're like, oh, God, I feel so much better. And then you almost jones for that feeling. And then not only that, I always try to introduce my clients with each other. Like Lisa started to come. I made sure I was, and this is Lisa, this is Ken. You know, I try to make them part of the community together where they're not misfits. They're all together. You're part of a group that's important. Everyone wants to feel important and part of a group.
I know what you mean, because when you were teaching at Lux, I'd go into the class. Yeah, because it's a small town, I would know one or two people in the bikes, and of course I knew you, but most of the time you're not really introducing yourself to everyone on a bike.
Right.
So I thought I was just special because every time I walk in, you're like, oh, that's just my sister.
Lisa,
what'd you say? Ken is my boy. So, Sarah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Julie is amazing. Yes, she is.
So, if someone wanted to try one of your classes, a lot of times when people are talking to me, they're kind of afraid to try spin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What would you tell somebody who's like, oh, I'd like to try your class, but I don't want, like, they look at spin like what people see. I don't know. You've been to some in New York City. There's all kinds of different classes that are just like way too advanced.
Super intimidating. Oh, for sure. You know, and it looks aggressive. And then you have like these TV commercials that make it look like overtly, you know, they make fun of it, but it still can make people feel intimidated. And how do you get people to try it? How do you get people to walk through the door? Right? Every level is welcomed. And, you know, we modify the classes. But I think the other part is I always introduce myself. Hi, I'm Sara. You know what I mean? Like I'm this like little peanut, like, yeah, I'm going to teach you a spin class. It's obviously not going to be high intensity because I'm like 5'1".
You make a connection with them.
Right. Because again, the culture, as I digress back to your question, the culture of Elevate is community. You're always going to find some kind of camaraderie, but individuality. You're here for yourself, but you're going to find that group support that isn't going to judge you. And by the end of the day, you're here to do you. Sit in the back of the damn class and just sit on coast. Nobody's judging you. This is to support anybody who wants to elevate an active lifestyle. There's no competition. I don't want competition. It stays outside that door. That's why.
But the competition you really have is with yourself.
Basically, aside from that, it's the experience. Listen to the music, sit in the bike, meet some new people. Like, it's you do you. That's it.
Right. I'm glad you agree with these tips. So would you say that my quote for you today, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor, fits you?
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I think you should have it up on the wall.
Yeah, no, I can have somebody like stencil it, or even the window. Finally get my white stencils on the window.
So we're at 8:44. So if you wanted to, you can take your phone to show people your studio.
All right, just plug it in.
It's up to you. It's up to you. I don't put the pressure on you.
Oh, well, you can see some of it now. See, look at. There's the disco ball we haven't used in a while. And as you can tell, the bikes are very far apart. They used to be closer. There's my back room. There's the couch if you don't even want to ride and you want to sit. No, I'm just kidding. And then there's the bar. Can you guys see it? And there's
A little bit.
All right. So here, I'll walk towards it.
I want you to show us the painting that one of the local girls did too.
So Jessica Babbitt, I call her Jessica Cooney. I went to school with her. And I noticed her daughter did some stuff, some painting. And I reached out to her because I was like, I would love to add some sort of like personalization art to the walls of Elevate. They were very bare. And then here's the bar. She did a phenomenal job. And then look at, I have Narragansett.
Where?
Can you see that on the wall?
No.
Oh, wait, because right there.
Oh, yeah, it's way too far away. I don't even wear glasses.
Can you see it now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? No.
No. Oh, right there. Narragansett.
Yeah, now I can see it, yes.
You
should ask Ronnie to paint a wall.
Yes, I could. So the whole idea here is to really have every community member involved. So you've got instructors who are community members. You have people doing art who are community members. The Spin Sisters, that's the culture behind it. Is like, bring your sister, find a sister, make a sister. I don't care. It's, you're here to enjoy it and have a great time, even though it's working out. It's supposed to be like painless, and enjoyable. That's what I'm hoping, again, to encourage.
Can you hear my background music just by any chance?
No.
Oh, good. We're listening to Biggie. I was like, oh, great.
I was excited. Tomoko come tonight. I messaged her and I was like, Tomoko, come. She came. She had a great time.
Oh, I'm so glad she did. Oh, that's awesome. All right, Sarah. So that's really all I had for you tonight. I mean, right now it's just open session until Instagram shuts us off. Is there any questions you have for me? Oh, she's gone. There she is.
No,
I don't know. You froze. I said, do you have any questions for me? Seeing as I just drilled you.
No, I do. So tell me any advice that you would, I want advice.
Oh, well, God. We'll see.
One piece. You're limited.
One piece of advice for what?
For me to continue to grow in my business.
Continue to elevate. Follow your passion. Your name, your brand name, what you created is called Elevate.
Yeah, I know.
So you have to elevate, go look it up in the dictionary, elevate yourself at all times. And you continually do that, Sarah. Even with the pop-up classes, you're continually elevating yourself.
Yes, I know, but I'm helping community members too. It's not only that, it's not just about me, it's about who am I elevating in the process.
You've elevated me. Even though I'm your older sister, you always elevate me. We always bounce things off of each other. And I watched you take something that you really were passionate about and throw it together. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that to everyone, to just throw it together.
Don't mobilize in 2 months.
But here's the thing. You already had dreamt it 2 years prior.
I know, that was the caveat.
You already had it in your head, so you had 2 years of trying to piece it together. You just hadn't formalized it. So when you threw it together in 2 months, that's when you formalized it.
I wrote out, this was my plan. It's called the SMART. And I'm telling you, I did it 2 years prior. When I opened, I found this folder and I was like, holy shit. I put specific, I will open Elevate, measurable, open Elevate, fill out SBA, I need my credit score at 625, get approved through business loan, realistic, January, finish SBA paperwork, timeline. I had all this stuff and I put March open, and guess what? 2 years later, I opened in March.
So you took a dream and you put a date to it, so it became a goal, and now it's a reality. Oh, I'm so excited!
And I did this 2 years prior and found it after I opened. That was what was crazy. So it can be attainable. If you dream something and you think of something, write it down. Put it in a folder, and you really don't know. It's a visualization. You know, it's shit can happen.
Now let me ask you, because you have the same grandmother as me, do you have the same kind of vivid dreams?
Oh, God. Sorry. Yes, of course I do. I'm a Pisces. My dreams are so vivid.
But here's the caveat, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be at night. They could be right in the middle of the day.
Absolutely. I could be working at my computer and all of a sudden a beautiful, brilliant idea could come. Write it down, text yourself, voice message yourself, whatever it is.
So I'm going to post this to the IGTV, Sarah.
Yeah.
I'm also going to put it into my YouTube channel, which is Sheri's Dreamcatcher. And then I'm going to do a blog on this. So I'm going to add in your smart advice to my blog, and then I'll attach the video to that blog, and then I'll put that out as well. And the blog's on Sheri's Dreamcatcher. What I'm wearing today is I'm the head wrap lady, literally. So I've got my red, I've got my pink, and I've got my orange on tonight. But I wanted to have something that represented Envision Dream, because Envision Dream is actually my dream. And it's a company that I started, and that's where we got our Sip and Think mugs from. And Sarah called hers the Motivation Cup, and she keeps it at Elevate Bar and Cycle.
Wait, do it again. I want to see, can we take a picture of it like this? No.
Yeah.
Why isn't it letting me do it?
I don't know. Here. Well, once I post it, you can do it.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, she has to learn a lot. Anyways, and Sarah, where can people find you?
You can
if they're local.
ElevateBarCycle.com, Facebook, Elevate Bar Cycle. Yeah, you got the Instagram and the website.
But here's the caveat. If somebody was to watch this on YouTube or read my blog and they're from out of state, honestly, they could go onto your website and purchase the Spin Sisters sweatshirt if they really wanted to feel as part of a Spin Sister.
Yeah.
They can do that. The other thing is, we're in a tourist area, so we get a lot of people that come from out of state, and a lot of times they'll just be like, I need a place to spin. I'm going to do like walk in, pop in. So it doesn't matter if you're not from Rhode Island, and let's say you're here for a week or a business trip and you wanted to spin, you can go to Sarah's class.
Mindbody is the app for people who just put in, or Google. You could Google it, spin indoor cycling, and that should pop up.
I can't wait. I've been to one Zumba class, and I've had
like 3.
I know I gotta get back. I gotta get back there, but I've been having a lot of events at the community because, you know, with COVID restrictions easing, we're open a little bit more. So actually, I gotta just work morning, noon, and night. That's what I do. I'm either working as, a sales director for the community, or I am coming home and I am working on Envision Dream and Sheri's Dream Catcher. So that's all I'm doing. I told everybody, I'm just hustling. They keep wondering why Sheri ain't out there drinking like this, doing that, whatever. Because I got too much going on, man. I'm taking classes right now. I'm trying to teach myself stuff. And then once I teach myself one thing, it goes into another thing. So I'm constantly going from one thing to the next. And I'm like, wait a minute. All right, so now that I'm doing my email marketing campaign, because I've been getting subscribers to my my clothing store, now I gotta figure, how I'm gonna create that and how often I'm gonna send that out. I do my product blogs. I gotta put together a plan that says, I'm gonna send out a product blog once a week, and then for Sheri's.
I have two of those Envision Dream rock and roll t-shirts almost in the checkout. I noticed that coupon lasts till October 31st.
It does, but I'm going to create you the rock and roll one with the rainbows in it.
Oh, yay. Okay, so because I have it in my cart. So I should wait?
So, hold on.
Okay.
Because you've been asking me for a while. You like to have the rainbow or to have some colors in it, and so I'm working on that. That's another project I'm working on. So I'm constantly trying to design. I just did some hats for the winter. And then I'm working on Sheri's Dreamcatcher blogs, and now I'm slowly working on the Sip and Think chat. I've got a couple of people lined up who want to do a chat with me.
Who's next?
It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up.
So we'll hear it on the next post on IG? Okay.
I'm just trying to organize it. What I'm worried about is I'm like, okay, so now I have people that want to do the chat, right? And I love doing it because I have to get myself prepared and I'm learning and stuff like that. But then I'm like, oh, what happens when I run out of people to chat? So then I thought to myself, you know what, Sheri, you can just have a chat with yourself.
You know you will.
I totally do. I know how to talk to myself.
No, but you'll find more people. You'll find more ideas.
So then I'm also learning, I'm learning how to use Pinterest. I'm learning how to use Twitter. So I'm trying to pace myself.
There's so much out there.
And it's like, they throw one thing at you and then that opens up to another thing. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I got to take a step back. I need to just focus on one particular project at a time, whether it's one project a day and learn something different for each company or each project. I took your advice. I went in and I added the links to my Pinterest and stuff like that to Sheri's Dreamcatcher Facebook. And then I went to my blog and I added in more of my social links there. And then I went to the YouTube. It does, because then you have to teach yourself, how do you do this and what about this? But once it's all set up, it'll be fine.
But always know that it's like writing a book or a manuscript. You need to edit all the time. That's the glory, and to accept.
I noticed that too. Like, you constantly have to be updating, like you said. But it's funny, I look back and I say, wow, I started my blog, Sheri's Dreamcatcher blog, in December of 2019. It's almost been a year.
Yeah. And look how it's evolved.
Yeah, it's almost been a year. And then in March, I started Envision Dream. And I didn't have time off from work. I had to work more because I was at the forefront and had, and safety of our residents that was the main concern. It was survival of making sure our residents survive, But at the same time, I was trying to focus on keeping my business going because I'm like, okay.
Pandemic. During a
right.
pandemic.
But I was like, even if I can't sell anything right now,
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go because there's something that I can do and there's something that I can teach myself.
And imagine if you had given up because of the pandemic, you wouldn't, yeah, you just hustled through.
All right, they're giving us 15 seconds. I'm Sheri from Sheri's Dreamcatcher, and this is Sara from Elevate Bar and Cycle. Thank you for today's Sip and Think chat with the Spin Sisters. Have a good night, everybody.